Today, this is a special one for me. We're going to be talking to Eric Anderson, CEO of the Alexander Anderson Real Estate Group, and my friend, my partner, and really my mentor. Now, during this time, and I know, or maybe after this time, you decided to go into commercial real estate, right? So how did that happen? Because you've really done everything. So
Yes.
How did you get into commercial real estate? Because I know that really is one of your true passions.
Sure. So again, at this point, I was still doing property management. I just sold this building. I had all this money. I had to go find things to buy. And you only have a limited amount of time because with a 1031 exchange, you have up to 6 months to do a closing. So I was looking around, and I'm like, what am I buying? Where am I buying? So I learned early on that value add or visualizing improvements is where you make your money. So I had options of going to higher end neighborhoods that were fully
Refurbished, done. It was walking
fully
ready,
gentrified.
right.
That's the wrong word, but fully functioning as whatever their high end, like Beverly Hills or whatever it is, high end areas versus more underdeveloped or urban areas that were ripe for new opportunities. And when I did my price per square foot, and I was like, well, I could take $100,000 and buy a shoebox. A shoebox, or I can take that same $100,000 and buy a building that's equal to 10 shoeboxes, and then just work that angle. What's the better scenario? So fortunately, I chose to go with the urban areas that I felt I could improve upon. And I focused on one area, and I bought 5 buildings in one area, and I started refurbishing all of those buildings at the same time.
What area was it?
It was Hackensack, New Jersey.
Okay, just for a second, and I want to continue on your journey, but for a second, you actually have been instrumental in the redevelopment of Hackensack over the past, 10, 20 years?
It's been like 15 years
It's
for
been
me.
about 15 years. And I've always found that really interesting because you bought these buildings in Hackensack, but then you actually really got involved, right?
Yeah. So once I bought the buildings and I started rehabbing them, I'm always of the phrase, if you build it, they will come, or whatever that is. But that's not always true. So sometimes if you build it, they will come means you have to jump in and help build up the rest of it. So as I was building these buildings and renovating them and making them better, I started to look around me and realize what some of the issues were with the city itself. And I decided to get involved with some other people in the city that were trying to improve the area and make things better. And fortunately, they listened to me, and we started working together to improve the area by changing the zoning, changing the buildings, changing other things in the area. One thing that was interesting, and this is how I got more into the commercial brokerage or sales end of stuff, was as I was building all these buildings, I was spending a lot of money because I was fixing them. And when you fix stuff, you're spending real cash, and you don't make money until you get rents. And sometimes your rents are not high enough to recover all of what you've put into it. So I started to run out of money. And what was interesting is while I was doing all this stuff, everybody started watching me. So I started to get recognized in the area, and people were calling me and asking me for help. And they're like, hey, can you help me buy a building like this? Or, hey, would you partner with me? Or, hey, would you do this or that, whatever. And then I was like, I'm running out of money because I can't do this fast enough. I'm not going to sell the buildings because when you sell, remember, I'm emotional, and I just made my first baby, right, by making this building, and now you want me to sell it? And if you can't refinance and pull out enough money, how do you make money? So while I was doing some of those refinances, I also realized that I could make money through brokerage, and I was good at the commercial end of it, and I was good at using my visualization to figure out how to fix buildings, how to get better tenants, so on and so forth. So I took all that and turned it into being a broker in commercial real estate.
Now, I know you've partnered with different people in brokerage before, but let's fast forward to Alexander Anderson Real Estate Group, right? And Alexander Anderson Real Estate Group does more than just brokerage. I mean, You're very well known here for commercial. You do residential. There's property management. There's development. There's the school, the Center for Real Estate Education. How did that come about, and because that's what the Passion Project is all about, being able to take all the different things that just make you excited and make money from it.
Yes.
So how did you diversify so much, and how do you keep all the balls up in the air? How do you keep on juggling all that?
It's hard to juggle a lot of balls. And as I get older, my juggling skills are not as good.
Right.
But my wife will tell you that I have ADD. I'm not diagnosed. I don't think I have it, but I definitely get bored. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's always about getting bigger, growing, expanding, trying new things. And I love to help people. I always remember my roots, how I had to do it all on my own, how nobody taught me. So I was always a giver of information. I remember growing up, I told you about my grandfather who allowed me to buy his building with a little bit of an edge. But one of the things my grandfather never did is he never taught me his strategies. He would hang out with me. He loved me. We would do stuff. But when I would be like, hey, Grandpa, teach me about how you do your stock market stuff, because he had a ton of stocks and all this stuff, but he would never spend the time to teach me. It was always a secret. And I couldn't figure out why. Like, why don't you want to share this? So as I grew and got more experience, I made it a point of always wanting to help people and always wanting to share. So,
because you do share secrets, you'll say, this is how I did it. This is how you could do it.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to have the same outcome.
Yes.
But this is how you can try it.
Yes. I mean, I don't always share my secrets of what I'm trying to buy, because obviously I don't want someone competing with me. Right. But I definitely share the strategies and the tactics. Right. And I love when other people can recreate and do what I did, because it's you got to give back in life. So I started this brokerage to help me help Hackensack grow, and to help me help young people and other people just do more and have more opportunities, and I wasn't a big corporate guy, so there wasn't a lot of red tape, and it was just, and I wanted people to have fun, and we had tons and tons and tons of fun. We're still having fun, but we've done tons of transactions. We've helped bring a lot of new buildings into many cities across New Jersey, and it's so much fun when you can take piles of dirt and sell it to somebody, and then all of a sudden there's 400 apartments there in like a year or two. So that's like an amazing experience to watch your first project. I sold the first redevelopment in the new downtown, and it turned out to be the only 14-story building that's in downtown Hackensack right now.
Which one is it?
It's called The Brick. It's a beautiful apartment building, and that's me. Like, that's my sweat and tears and blood and whatever else you want to put there. But that is such an amazing experience, and I'm so proud that it's there and it's helping change the city for the better. But all of that is what led me to want to share success and help people, and that's where the school comes in. That was kind of my passion project. I always wanted a school, or not, I didn't really want a school, but I always remember wanting to teach people. And I remember my school experience. I went to a small family-run real estate school, and I remember being in a basement. I remember sitting in one of those metal folding chairs with like the flip top. Right. And I was like, what the hell am I doing here? And I'm like, why is this was literally, I felt like I was in like third grade, and I felt like I was in elementary school.
It doesn't make you feel like you're getting into a career.
It was horrible. It was a horrible vibe. The energy sucked. It just didn't. Now, I was passionate about real estate, so I was able to work through all that, and I passed my test immediately. But the energy wasn't there. So looking back, when my vision for the school came up, I was like, I want to do something that's like a corporate training center, or that treats the career as it should be treated, something that can generate multi-million dollars for people. Why are you educating people in a basement when this is a career that's billions of dollars, right. Billions of dollars? So that's where we started, and you and I had been friends for so many years, and I was able to steal you away from what you were doing,
And when you
there
came to me, though, you said this is not going to be a regular professional school. And I think one of the things that you saw, and this is in your ability to see past what is in black and white. You know what I mean? You saw that this could be more than just getting people real estate licenses, which all the schools do, right?
Yes.
And that's like boring. But you're like, we need to teach people how to make money in real estate in all its different forms. And, when I think about what you're passionate about, you are passionate about all the different creative ways that you can make the money, So the opening of the school was you seeing past what everyone else normally does.
And it was so much fun.
Yep.
And now I think our school's been around for over 5 years. And having the ability to talk to first timers, it's just amazing. It like makes me feel young again. Haha.
So what's your top advice that you give to all of these students? Because sometimes when we were in physical class, you'd come into the classes, you'd talk to them, you'd banter with them, you'd tell them your story. What is your best advice to all of those people out there who are just getting into real estate?
So first of all, you have to be in it to win it. Right. So all these people sitting on the sidelines, give yourself a time limit, and then you got to jump in. Even if you break even on your first project, even if you lose a couple dollars, you need to gain that experience. When you lose money, don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as you paid for an education. So you got to be in it to win it. Then the next thing is you have to immerse yourself. Okay, so as we talk about, you do an asset assessment. You look at what you have, and when I say assets, I don't mean how much money do you have. I mean, what are you physically? What are your assets? Are you a good talker? Do you have a great network? Is your dad a mortgage broker? Like, who do you know? What do you have in the business that can help you give a leg up or give you a direction? Like, was your prior career working in Home Depot with contractors, right? Was your prior career working in the tax office, and now you know hundreds of commercial property owners? Like, try to figure out what are those assets, what are those strong points, what are those areas that you could have a jump start in because of your prior role or prior job. Take advantage of those, and then move forward. Go get your license. Get involved. You have to immerse yourself. You have to sleep, eat, breathe, all that other stuff. The business.
Real estate, right.
You have to talk about it. You have to talk about it to everybody. You have to read about it. You have to learn about it. But don't be frozen in education. You have to actually go and try it. And what's one of the great things we talk about is go try stuff. Yeah. Go put out offers. Go talk to people. Yep. Go learn about stuff. Join groups, join networking. And, one of the things at our school, we have this huge Facebook group where people talk to each other all the time.
They do. The students and the new real estate agents run that.
Yes.
I mean, they're just back and forth. Yeah. So.
But it's just trying stuff. And, I've tried lots of things in my life. I've tried a lot of real estate stuff. I've tried a lot of stuff around business and real estate. All my real estate transactions have been extremely successful. Some of my business growth strategies have not, but my real estate transactions have been. But I haven't been afraid to do it. The big thing is, do it while you're young.
Yeah, but no, at the school, we have a ton of people who are of a certain age.
Yes.
Like myself, like yourself, and they go out and they do it too.
What I mean by young is when you don't have a lot of baggage, right? So there's different points in life when you don't have baggage. When you're first starting out, you have nothing to lose, young, okay? Let's say now you have 2 kids and they just are in college and you manage to get through that point and you're 40 years old, your kids are already out of college. That's a great time to start because you don't have that extra worry, So it's just the younger you are, the less responsibilities you have. That's the time to take risks, and that's the time to start investing and try things. Because if you lose, you can start over.
So let's talk about what's next, because you're like, oh, you take all the risks when you're young. But you are doing something that's pretty new and pretty risky and pretty amazing. What are you doing? What is Eric 2.0? How are you rising from the ashes?
Yeah. So the big step for many people is actually building something. So
Correct.
yes, I'm building a building, 24 unit apartment building. And as I said earlier, you got to get in it to win it and all that stuff. That's all true. I didn't really go out and seek to build a building.
Right.
It kind of just happened for me. So one of my buildings burnt down, and I was now faced with a piece of dirt.
An empty lot,
And
right?
because for all these years I've been preaching how to build stuff, and I've been bringing in developers to buy dirt, and now I have dirt. And my dirt was in an area that was already zoned for a 5-story apartment building. So I was like, this is one of those scenarios where it's like put up or shut up or whatever, and you have to just go for it. So
How many units is it?
it's 24 units.
What's the name of the building?
The building's called the Phoenix.
Right, because it's rising from the ashes
Yes.
of the fire.
As
I always love that.
my wife named it.
Go Lena.
Go Lena. But, a bunch of challenges, like, again, because I'm super busy. I have a ton of clients. I have a ton of properties. And I have ADD, undiagnosed. I needed help. So I tried a couple of avenues. Then I realized I had to go out and get a partner. So I actually partnered up about 2 years ago. And we broke ground last October. And we are actually today, they're putting the roof on the 5th floor. So super, super exciting. Is it nerve-wracking? Yes and no. I'm not stressed out about it. This is like an $8 million build for me. So, going from 0 to $8 million, it's like, wow. So we'll have this conversation in like 8 months when the building's supposed to be done, and I'll let you know if I'm going to do it again.
8 months.
Yeah, 8 months. But it's super exciting. I recommend it not as your first project, but I do recommend, if you want to try it. And I'm trying it. So at this point, I'd say I've done almost everything. There's still a lot of stuff that I'm learning and trying or learning that I haven't tried. So it's always fun for me to have a challenge and be thrown something where I'm like, oh, there's none of the normal strategies work. And this is part of having a good network of people around you. So your experts, like your accountants, your lawyers, your advisors, sometimes that you don't have an answer, but you can call. It's like a lifeline. And, I'm 51 now, and I know you told me not to date myself, but anyway.
Well, then don't date me.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So I've done so much,
Right.
and I've forgotten so many things that I've done already. That's how much I've done. But there's still times, like recently, like 6 months ago, something came across my desk. And this was something, again, we talk about visualization. One of my big things is if you visualize it, you can own it. I get obsessed with properties. I visualized something 10 years ago, and it's now happening for me. I can't really get into the woods with it, but this was a property that came to me that I've been looking at for 10 years, wanting for 10 years. And it came to me, and there was it wasn't a traditional way to do things, and I had no idea what to do with it, and I couldn't figure it out. And I called my accountant, and I was like, how do I buy something when I can't buy it?
Well, we all want to know that. Tell
Yeah.
us the secret.
And we're not talking about money. It had nothing to do with money.
Okay.
Okay? It had to do with just logistics, which I can't get into right now. But I called my accountant, and he, within like one sentence, he was like, do this. And I was like, OMG, I had no idea. And then when we thought through it, I was like, wow, yeah, that makes sense. And guess what? Now we're 6 months later, and we're doing exactly what the accountant said, and we're about to sign off on it soon. So there's always new tricks. There's always, when they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that's not true for me. I love to learn new stuff. I love to get new ideas. And one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to people is you have to listen. So when you're talking to people, they're going to tell you how to interact with them. They're going to tell you what their needs are. They're going to tell you what they'll agree to. It's all through listening. You just have to listen.
And you're really good at that. Sometimes you don't speak, and I'm like, speak. What? What's going on? Yeah. But you're listening, and you let people talk.
Yeah.
I love it. So what is next? What is the next phase after developing the 20? Are you going to keep on developing?
It's time to retire.
To where?
No, I'm
where
just
is the luxury place for Eric Anderson?
I don't know. Hackensack. I have no idea. Yeah, knowing that my build is going to become amazing, and we are putting a jacuzzi on the roof, so look out for a big ass party. Once this building is done, we do have about 600 or 700 more units, apartment units that we want to build. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's next. I'm excited to go to the next one. I'm excited to get the first one done, and I'm excited to keep going.
Thanks for watching this episode. Now don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.